how do you actually create chord progressions? How do you move from one chord to another? How is it that musicians are able to sit at their keyboard and just play forever, just keep on playing one chord after another? Well, let me clue you in on something. It's not something they memorized. No, they're making it up as they go along. They're moving from chord to chord on the fly. They don't know what chord they're going to play next, and I'm going to show you or tell you how that's done. I'm not going to do it, but this is going to be a pretty profound concept for you to grasp, and you need to really think about it. Let's talk about a particular application of worship and praise chords where you're in church and the preacher is talking and the organist or keyboardist is just playing, following the preacher. How does that happen? How does that work? I'm going to clue you in on how to do that, or tell you the concept, and you can get the details on actually how to do it in my Adventures in Harmony course. Here you are, a musician, sitting at your keyboard and you're playing a chord, this particular chord here, this A flat chord, just as an example. And you're wondering, well, what chord do I play next? You know, and you've probably been taught, depending on what key you're in, certain chords, certain tones of the scale move to certain other tones. Well, let me tell you something, that's not true. If you follow that rule, your music is going to have no color and flavor to it. It'll sound very bland and boring. The real truth behind it is, when you're on a particular chord and you need to know what chord goes next, the answer is any chord you want, any tone you want. So if I'm sitting here on this A flat, you can say to yourself, oh, I think I want the next chord to be, just pull it out of the air, F. And that is the chord that goes next. It's that simple. But the key to it is, it's got to be voiced correctly. I'm pretty sure many of you have sat at your keyboard and you played a chord and you try to figure out, oh, what chord goes next? And let me tell you, it's pretty easy to botch it up. In fact, most of the time you'll botch it up. So here I am sitting on this A flat chord, and I say, okay, the next chord is going to be F. Let's do that. Let's move to an F chord. Let's hear it. Now clearly that doesn't work. Here, let's listen to that movement again. From A flat to F. Okay? But the problem with that is it was voiced incorrectly. You didn't learn the right voices. The voices that you learned were wrong. If you had voiced that F correctly, it would have sounded fine. So here we are in the key of D flat. We're playing an A flat chord, which is the 5. The 5th tone of the D flat scale is A flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here we are playing an A flat chord, and we want to move to a 3 chord. The 3, 1, 2, 3. The 3rd tone of the D flat scale is an F, so we want to move to an F chord. And like I said, we can pick any tone we want, but we're playing the keyboard here. We don't have to figure out, well, I'm on the 5, what are the rules? It's too hard to remember rules. It's easier to have no rules and say, well, I can go to any chord I want. It's just that you have to have the right voicing, and those voicings are in my Adventures in Harmony course, and we tell you how to figure out what those voicings are. So let's just do this just so you can hear that you really can go anywhere you want from any tone. Now that's going to make your playing a lot easier where, oh, you don't have to memorize anything. The only thing you have to do when you're playing is just pick which tone you want to go to. And by doing that, you can move from chord to chord to chord at random, and it will all sound good. Now here we go. Let's do that with this A flat chord. And let's go ahead and move to an F chord, because that's what I want to do. Here we go. Okay, and that worked. That was beautiful. F, 7 sharp 9 sharp 5. We're going to close it out with a B So like I said, you can move from any chord to any chord. Forget those rules. The key is the voicing. Let's look at another example. Say we're on the 2. We're on the E flat. The E flat is the 2 in the key of D flat. So say we're on this E flat chord. We're playing our worship, and let's say, hey, from this 2, I'm going to go to the 3, which is an F. Like I said, it's pretty easy to botch this up. So let's go from the 2 to the 3 and botch it up, okay? So we go from the 2 to the 3, which is an F chord. No, okay? No. But let's voice it correct and see what we come up with. Here we are. Much better, okay? That F chord. The key is the voicing, not where you go. I stress that in my Adventures in Harmony course, where you can go anywhere you want to go. Just make sure you voice it correctly. And that's going to allow you to even sit down at your keyboard and just play, and just play, and just play until you get tired, because you're free to go to any tone you want. And this is all laid out in my course, Adventures in Harmony. It's a totally new concept where essentially you can just create your own songs just off the top of your head. You can say, okay, the first chord is E flat, the next one is A, the next one is B flat, the next one is C. There you go, it works. Sit down and play it. The key is voice it correctly. That's the key. Pretty profound concept, and see it in action in a lot of my other videos and in detail in the Adventures in Harmony course. Let's see one more example of what I'm talking about. Maybe you'll believe me. Let's look at, let's start at the 4. The 4th key, the 4th tone of the key of D flat is G flat. So this is going to be a G flat chord. I'm going to play this G flat. And I want to move to, say, for example, B chord after this G flat. Like I said, it's pretty easy to fumble it. And let's go. Okay, that's a B flat. That's a B, excuse me, a B. That's a B major. But it doesn't sound right. You didn't voice it correct. Let's do it the right way using the chords in my course. Let's go ahead and take that G flat minor 9 sus. That's what this is. Pretty chord, G flat minor 9 sus. In fact, in my course, you're going to be playing all these fancy chords, not those simple chords, but you're going to go from this G flat to a B. And you just heard how it sounded, and it was crazy, but if you voice it correctly, there you go. You're going to go to a B major 9. Makes a big difference. It's all in the voicing. You can go anywhere on the keyboard you want at any time, as long as you voice it correctly. Now do you understand how you as a musician can sit at your keyboard, play a chord, and move to the next chord, and move to the next chord. Just keep going from chord to chord and have it sound beautiful and never make a mistake. It's because you know how to voice it. You know the right voicings, and all those voicings are in the Adventures in Harmony course. They're like Lego building blocks. You can put them together in random order and it's all going to sound good.